The Simpsons. 10 big mistakes that Marge committed. Marge might not make mistakes as often as her oafish husband Homer, but it still happens. Here are the biggest mistakes she's made in the show. When Simpsons fans think of screwing up, Bart and Homer always come to mind, which makes sense, since most of the time it would be right to look in their direction. However, no one in the Simpson family is without some form of almost irredeemable mistake that either put someone in danger or completely destroyed trust in them. Marge Simpson might seem like the anti-Homer, but she has had her moments committing out-of-character mistakes. This video is about the mistakes committed by Marge throughout the episodes. Number 10. Sent Homer to Meth Lab. One doesn't have to be a fan of the show to realize Homer is going to be the fun parent to be around. Though when Marge and the kids become food critics, she finally finds that one activity where she is a cool parent. When Homer wants to take part in their activities, she gives him bad directions to the restaurant, instead sending him into a meth lab. Homer doesn't even realize he is in the wrong place until he gets into a shootout between meth dealers and police. Number 9. Ratted on Homer to the police for stealing movies. Every episode, Homer seems to find himself in some sort of trouble for one reason or the other. However, it usually isn't because Marge snitched on him. When Homer begins showing pirated movies in his own backyard to neighbors, feeling guilty and always one to follow her conscience, Marge rats on her husband to Hollywood, causing him to be sent to prison. He ends up breaking free, resulting in the family having to remain at the United States consulate in Sweden. Number 8. Destroyed a burlesque house. Marge has always had a hint of mother knows best mentality, even when it comes to the residents of Springfield. In the episode Bart After Dark, Marge finds out that Bart is working at a burlesque house in order to make money. After tattling to the wives of the men who had been entertained there, she blackmails the men along with their angry wives into tearing down the establishment. After arriving, she even tries to bulldoze the place down, ultimately resulting in it shutting its doors for good. Number 7. Ruins the Itchy and Scratchy cartoon. Marge always has trouble seeing past her own societal viewpoints. This occasionally lands her in a situation where she is hated by those around her, mostly because she sticks her nose where it doesn't belong. After watching an episode of Itchy and Scratchy, she gathers up a mob of angry mothers and takes to the street. She calls for a boycott of the program, forcing the studio to tone down the violence. The children stop watching and the studio almost goes out of business. Number 6. Almost cheats on Homer. Homer has never been one of the more thoughtful husbands on the show. Sadly, at times, he is oblivious to what makes Marge happy. After forgetting her birthday, he rushes to the mall to buy her a gift, only to instead buy her a bowling ball that has his name on it. Angry, she refuses to let him have the ball and instead uses it herself. Not knowing how to bowl, she asks for help from a smooth-talking bowling instructor. He wants a fling, and she almost gives in. Number 5. Arrests Homer. The citizens of Springfield aren't exactly model citizens, with the one exception being Ned Flanders. In the episode The Springfield Connection, Marge sets out to be a cop and brings Springfield the justice she believes it deserves. Sadly, she soon finds out that all her neighbors and friends are committing various crimes throughout town. After Homer illegally parks over 3 handicapped spaces, she writes him a ticket. When he mocks her by throwing down her police hat, she then arrests him for his behavior. Number 4. Marge becomes a bodybuilder. Marge Simpson isn't that much different from her daughter Lisa. Both tend to be nagging and also take their actions a step too far. In the episode The Strong Arms of the Ma, Marge gets robbed at the convenience store, causing her to feel helpless. After discovering that the cops are no use, Marge grows tired of feeling helpless and instead begins to lift weights to grow stronger. After winning second place in a weightlifting competition, she goes on a steroid rage tantrum, destroying Moe's bar. Number 2. Cheats during Bake Off. Marge Simpson might think she is the conscience of Springfield, but in reality, she is not beyond doing whatever is necessary to accomplish her goals, even if that means she has to cheat. After taking part in a bake-off, Marge creates a recipe called Desert Dogs, a recipe that would easily win the bake-off for her. Sadly, her competition keeps sabotaging her recipe, resulting in her taking action by adding Maggie's eardrops to her competition's food. She ultimately comes clean, but only when she is made to. Number 1. Ditches Homer for Bart to win tennis tournament. Marge is always trying to find new ways for her family to become more active. So when Homer builds a tennis court in their backyard, she is thrilled in having her family pair up and play. However, when the whole town gets involved, a tennis tournament is created, and the fun game soon becomes a competition. Wanting to win the tournament, Marge dumps Homer as a partner in favor of Bart. Feeling rejected, Homer creates a team with Lisa, causing the two teams to face off.